Hello and welcome. We're the Bitches with Beards, and we love to talk all things culture.
On this podcast, we chat our top 3 cultural moments of the week.
It's the Cultural Three-Way. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Max. We saw you from across the bar.
And we really enjoyed your vibes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Daniel, I know
Yes.
that we do threes and threes and threes, but
Yes.
there's been culture this week that has defied even that structure.
So we've got to do a fourth.
It is today
Oh.
David Attenborough's 100th birthday.
Oh, yes.
So I think I was like, do we want to put this in? And I think we should.
We
It's
do it at the
beyond.
beginning.
It's beyond culture. This man
It transcends.
transcends. Do you know that Lego changed their dates on there because it's 0 to 99 or something?
Oh.
And they said that, and someone joked, "Oh, Lord Attenborough can't do it anymore," so they changed their packaging for him.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it's just amazing. And they say, "Was it leave the world in a better place than you found it?" And I generally think if there's one human being that's doing that,
It's David
David
Attenborough.
So I just wanted to say he's beyond a pizzly little culture moment podcast. Is bigger than anything.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
wonderful.
Thank you, Dickie.
And as someone that, also works a little bit in nature, how was your week?
Oh my gosh. I was talking before the podcast with you, and we're going to talk after the podcast probably about my week. I was out in nature on Monday and was not anticipating that I was going to be out in nature. And what I was doing, I was on a golf course and had not planned on being on the golf course 30 minutes before I was there. It was just a joy. Let me just say, last week I felt sort of burnt out, and this week I also felt burnt out, and I thought that the thing that was going to save me was to go do something cultural on Saturday. Listeners, I didn't do anything cultural on Saturday, but I did. I did go shopping on Saturday.
Lovely.
And I was like, I'm going to redecorate my entire bathroom, and I did.
Well, good to do it now before the new person moves in.
Right. I was like, I want to go for a spa theme. And I'm like, we need cotton weave, and we need lots of linen, and we need new towels, and we need a new rug, and we need new soap to feel good about ourselves. And I ended up getting stuff to pamper myself, essentially.
That's lovely.
I almost bought a towel warmer.
Almost.
I feel like I don't know if that's too bougie. Like, is that the line? Is a towel warmer too bougie?
Well, you used to get, so in the UK, you can, like you can get towel radiators.
Right.
So it wasn't like the radiator would be designed in a way that towels would hang over.
Right. And whenever I lived in Italy, we had 3 radiators like in the bathroom. So like, you
You
could
put your towel over.
You would put the towel on there and then, wrap up after you got done. But there's no radiator here in the States in the bathroom.
No.
So anyways, it was a week. It was a trying time. I hope you had a better week, my friend.
Oh yeah, it was Hub's birthday.
It was.
We went to Rufus Union.
Yes.
Which they did a really good drag brunch.
And I have to ask a question.
Yeah.
Did you know it was going to be a drag brunch before we showed up?
I had an idea, but I couldn't really guarantee for everything.
Okay, because I showed up and they're like, it's drag brunch. And I was just like, Max knew. Which I like a
But
good
the
drag
Hubs
brunch.
got to run about and be all social. We had a very
Yes.
nice day afterwards. And then we went out Tuesday for his actual birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was a good week. Work's been going really well. And yeah, no, I'm just ticking along really. And, obviously, like we just told Daniel that Rosie is going to be permanently with us. We've decided to
Yay.
adopt her. Lots of conversations about it because it's not quite what our plan was. But
I was about to say, I know it's not quite what the plan was.
But then also, like, just as we're sort of looking at Rosie, then I see a post from the same shelter going, we have a deafblind dog. I'm like, well, if we don't have Rosie, we're going to end up with a deafblind dog. So, Anyway, Daniel, talking of deafblind, let's talk about feelings.
Feelings. Oh, feelings.
Let's move on to the foreplay section.
And this is where we warm up.
So, Daniel, what's been culture for you this week?
Culture for me this week, I finished book number 11, Queer City by Peter Ackroyd, which I mentioned in the last episode. Oh, damn it, I actually meant to bring that for you. It's a good, broad overview of London queer culture, though I'm going to say the fact that it goes from the 1940s to the AIDS crisis in about 12 paragraphs tells you how broad of an overview it is.
Yeah.
But it was really good on, like, the 16th century, and they were looking at court transcripts for
Wonderful.
that. Very good. My 12th book of the year that I have started and will finish it tomorrow because I have a grand total of 15 pages left, is called The Great Contradiction, The Tragic Side of America's Founding by Joseph Ellis. And it's talking about slavery and the Native American indigenous population, questions that sort of somehow got neglected in the entire Revolution era, which was very intentional. It's been very fascinating. My last bit of culture for the week was a song that happened to be on the Devil Wears Prada 2 soundtrack, Shape of a Woman by Lady Gaga, which was in one of the penultimate scenes. So it's been on replay for a lot. How about you? What was culture for you this week?
Well, I didn't get to the cinema.
Why didn't you get to the cinema?
There's nothing really on. I was meant to go and see the Star Wars preview on Monday, but I didn't end up doing it. Also didn't want the first 20 minutes spoiled. But so for food, we had Meg's Kentucky Derby party, and I did a Kentucky butter cake, but as a tray bake, which came out really tasty. The only thing was it involved making like the butter and the syrup, but I felt the syrup was a bit too thick. So it became more of a glaze. So what I would do next time is use half the sugar and the butter, and then use 50% of that to like drip it, and then add the rest of the sugar and make a glaze on top. But the actual, because it's a buttercream sponge, it tastes like birthday cake, like actual professional birthday cake. So I'm like,
look at you.
So I'm like, oh, is that how you get that birthday cake compared to like, it's like a denser sponge?
Probably.
TV, we started 2026, which is in the universe of 2012 and W1A.
That one. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's about it's a BBC show about putting on the 2026 World Cup. So far, so hilarious. Good. Really well done. And my soundtrack of the week, I listened to the new Chess.
Oh, did you? And what are your thoughts about the new Chess?
The singing's really great on it, and there's a note hit by the guy playing Anatoly in Endgame. It should be Endgame 3, but it's classed as Endgame 2.
Okay.
Where he goes, no, he goes, never, and he holds the note for a ridiculous long time.
Yeah.
It's a really weird soundtrack. It's I know they've changed the book on it a few times.
I feel like they've changed the book every single time.
Which I don't get. It's not that hard. You're just that stupid. Because it's actually a really, and so it's Benny
and Bjorn. How hard?
It's Benny and Bjorn. I feel they've taken like the. Okay, it's really weird. So like now the overture is like all the music, which it wasn't before. The overture was a choral piece that went into the history of chess. Then it went into Murano, Murano, and then it goes boom into the American's introduction. Because he has a really cool drop that goes in the guitar. They've got a load of stuff like Difficult and Dangerous Time before that now, which is really weird for me. So I can't in my head, like, you've lost the big intro number. A lot of the soundtrack doesn't have dialogue in it, which again is integral to it. So I love the bit in Deal or No Deal. So I'm a big Chess fan. I've never seen it live. I like the concept album. I think the Albert Hall White Album is by far one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. And it feels like a lot has been chipped away. And there's a really good bit in Deal or No Deal, which is towards the middle part of the second act, and it's when they're really working out what's going to happen with the next game of chess. And the arbiter comes in, and that is played by the gorgeous Marty Pellow, and he just goes, and who better than a dethroned king? And it cuts into Roger's music. That's lost. There's no structure. It's a really bad album in my opinion. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I think they cut a lot out. Songs are really short. Like the You and I reprise is virtually gutted to like 3 minutes long. And it's just no.
Why do you think they did that?
I don't know. I just feel like they've really trimmed it down. And I think Chess is great because actually it's a highly indulgent soundtrack.
Do you think this is because Leah Michelle can't read?
Probably.
Yeah.
She took time off this week, didn't she, for the Tonys?
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. It's just, and then Florence now sings somebody else's story, which in a way makes sense, but the replacement song for Svetlana isn't as good. It's not as strong. And I'm like, well, she doesn't have any good music then. She does do that. You can slink back to your whores and to your tarts. But Kerry Ellis has a better voice for that sort of line.
Yeah.
She's a lot clearer. It's hard when you're angry to kind of still be like, like listen.
It takes a certain talent to do it.
I don't know. It's just I would see it live, but
not this cast.
I don't know what it's just. I don't get certain things in it, and also, the Soviet machine, da 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 da, boom boom, and they turn it into like a penny whistle. That boom, because it's them stomping, because they're so. It's just really weird. It doesn't. I don't get. You've got this amazing version of it, and you've now releasing this. I'm always going to go back to even though Idina Menzel things like this, and I don't get why.
Yeah.
And I don't think Aaron Tveit is as cocky enough. I think Adam Pascal is so much cockier.
Yeah.
Aaron's not got that rock voice. Like,
no.
It's just he's not. I can see him in the role, no question, but his voice is nowhere near Adam Pascal's level.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
So I think the guy playing Anatoly is actually probably just as powerful as Josh Groban.
Yeah.
And Leah's amazing. She's a great singer, but you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's it's just a really weird. It's just such a. I was sitting there going, "This is really weird." Anyway, moving back to you. It's always about you, Daniel. When it's not, it's always about me. I always babble on too much bullshit.
No, but it's about you. You've got to do the intro.
Yeah. So, Daniel, that was Culture House. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
So now it's the question of who is your top, who's your bottom, and who is your lucky Pierre.
So, Daniel, who's your top, who's your bottom, and who is your lucky Pierre?
So my bottom of the week happens to be All of Us, because Dolly Parton has announced that she is canceling her previously postponed Vegas residency due to health reasons.
No!
I know, even Rosie was upset over that one. Oh, sorry. Sorry, dogs. The 80-year-old has stated that she's having swimmy heads whenever she gets on stage, which doesn't really work for being in a 5-inch hill, especially whenever she's carrying around a banjo. But she says she's responding well to treatment. It sounds like she's got vertigo, is what it sounds like to me. So, anyways, we wish her well. We hope she gets to feeling better, but it's a sad day for all of us. Now let's see, my top for the week. It was announced late last week, as in I think we had already recorded, that Netflix has greenlit a Crown prequel series.
And it is the Crown prequel, not just a prequel series that could be the Crown.
No, it is a Crown prequel series. It will be spanning from 1901 to 1947, covering the death of Queen Victoria, the constitutional crisis and abdication, the world wars, and conclude with Queen Elizabeth's wedding prior to her coronation. So...
she was married in the first. I can't remember now.
Yeah, she was married in the first one. By that point, Peter Morgan, who spearheaded the last one, is set to return. There's rumors that it will be 5 seasons, and there's no words on the cast. And now for the lucky Pierre of the week, which it's not really a surprise to Max. So it's the first Monday of May, which means, listeners, we're going to talk about the Met Gala. So the theme this year was costume as art. And I'm going to say this. My general impressions are that for $100,000, it cannot buy you creativity or for a highlight in ingenuity.
There was one that did creativity and ingenuity for me.
Yes, there were several good outfits, and there were several good outfits that were actually on theme, I thought.
Yes.
And I think that there was a lot of subtlety to them that you had to, like, rewatch, but there were some that they could really up the camp factor, which for me was missing.
Yes, there was definitely a lack of camp.
There was a lack of camp this year, and part of it happens to be because who was sponsoring it was Bezos and Laura Sanchez. We're going to circle back to that one. So I am just going to say my best dress that were on theme this year, this is my caveat, is those that I felt were actually on theme happened to be Emma Chamberlain, who was in this lovely rainbow number, Amy Sherald, who was in her own painting, essentially. Like, she was
stunning.
Absolutely stunning. And let's see. Who else we had for that one? That was sort of it that I thought, like, really dressed really, really well. There's also Madonna, who was very interesting with her interpretation, which was actually based off of a painting. Some of the theme looks that I thought were really well. Anne Hathaway is in the Michael Kors. Beautiful number that was actually quoting Chanel's Byzantine era from the 1930s and the costume jewelry. Gorgeous. Rihanna, who was in this wonderful Magella, was wonderful. Gwendolyn Christie was also in a really good number, I thought. Gillian Wearing was the dresser for that one. I want to give snaps to Sarah Paulson, who was in Protest.
Yes,
She had a money mask, and I feel like that was the only protest that I really saw that was overt. There were some other good references that came up. Rachel Ziegler was dressed as Jane Grey. Sabrina Carpenter was in a film dress that was actually the film Sabrina, her namesake, which I thought, oh, that's good. Bad Bunny was in old drag, where he was essentially himself in 30 years.
Yes.
I thought it was really nice. I am going to say this to the men that were there. I think that you all should have tried harder than what you did. Luke Evans, you look cheap, and Tom Finland. And to Hudson and Connor, I just can't. Coleman, that was a choice. And here are my notes on the back, which is what I should have flipped to. Anyway, some other on theme looks. Yuchi Lara Kuo was essentially quoting Samothrace. Sam Smith was Evelyn Brunt, which was very 1930s Art
Someone
Deco.
said he looked like what's her face from Emperor's New Groove son.
Oh, Yzma, yes.
Yeah,
he was. But here's the thing: it was actually camp, and I was like, "Oh, thank you." Doja Cat was in Saint Laurent. Was very Greek sculpture. I loved it. Doechii was in Marc Jacobs. It was a dark feminine look. It was very much quoting the Odalisque with like the turbans and the drapering. Madonna was in Saint Laurent, and she was doing the Temptation of St. Anthony, complete with 7 ladies in waiting.
Good
on
for
that
her.
one. Lala Anthony was absolutely stunning, and what looked like it was a piece of wood that was absolutely carved, and it was quoting Klimt's Tree of Life. A few little facts. Prada and Tom Brown were the most worn. McQueen was the least represented. Okay, so a few little notes that we have here. I didn't care for Beyonce's look. I did not care for it.
It just looked like Beyonce, to be honest.
It looked cheap. And I've never said that about one of her looks at...
I like Blue Ivy. She does.
I loved Blue Ivy's. That was literally my note. Beyonce looked cheap. I love Blue Ivy. Like, way to go, Blue. However, I think the biggest thing that comes up is the fact that everyone was talking that this was the AI Met Gala, that this was the billionaires Met Gala, and that the life was sucked out of it. And I think it goes to Lauren Sanchez, and that everyone said there was one piece of art that you should never quote in this one because it's so on the nose, and it's Madame X by Sargent, and she came as Madame X and Sargent, but in a very bad Schiaparelli that did not fit and looked so cheap. But you know who did it right? Claire Foy, who was in a black barber as Madame X. Absolutely stunning. So Max, what was the look that you thought actually worked?
I really loved Heidi Klum.
Oh, as the
statue.
The statue. It was camp.
It was camp. It's very on point with Heidi because she does love, like Halloween.
Costumes, yes.
I kind of felt it was needed. And maybe had the other ones been a lot more elevated, I would have been like, Heidi, that's a bit tacky. Yeah. But I'm kind of glad someone stepped up.
Yeah.
And she went as the Greek marble statues, or one of the marble statues. And if you've ever seen them, is that they somehow managed to convey that there's a veil over a face. Mm-hmm. It's impossible to even work. It's art and technique beyond. And she went as that. So she had like a latex mask on. But it was, I thought that it for her was really, I like that one. I overall felt that maybe had the Bezos not been there, that it would have changed it a bit. It's always held on by the skin of its teeth, by its fingernails, as to whether or not it's appropriate. I think that we've always gone for the route of we just need this level of indulgence. Mm-hmm. But I kind of felt it was a bit like when you kind of end up going to a gig and, just as you're about to go to your favourite gig, the bands gets accused of something. Yes. And you're like, do we go? Do we not go? If we do go, is the atmosphere going to be there? And I don't know. It was just a very weird one, and it was very weird to do that on the back of The Devil Wears Prada, and just how they're discussing how a lot of this and the failing and the slowly diminishing power that people have. But if the rumors are true, they're trying to shift away from it slightly.
Yes, so you sent me a clip today, which I think is rather interesting, in that the Met Gala, or the Met Museum in New York, is looking at not hosting the Met Gala after 2028, that they have been fundraising so that they don't have to.
Yeah.
Which goes into commentary about the fact that I was telling you in the hubs that 3 years ago, I think it was, tickets cost $10,000. It was $100,000 to attend.
Yeah.
Unless you were invited personally. And I think that very much the Met is trying to get enough to do an endowment, which makes sense. Like, that's how you sort of have to do it, is in order to have it in perpetuity. So, but yeah, it was lacking this year. Like, the camp was not there. If, for example, if you're going to dress as the lady in gold, dress up in gold. Like,
yeah.
But no one did that, no one like executed it with that talent and that,
It would be really interesting because they went for these really high-end brands, but you wonder if they'd hired like someone. All you have to do is look at like the Drag Race queens now on the red on their own runway, and you're like, well, they have these briefs all the time. Like, there's always a come out like a work of art. There's always come out like your favorite one, and yes, there's some people that come out in what looks like H&M, and there are others that come out in complete. Like the dress itself is a work of art, portraying a work of art, and I don't know. I feel it's certain, like, I don't know. I get they have to make money. There's always, the trouble is, are billionaires out there now. They're all like Rihanna's a billionaire, Selena Gomez is a billionaire. There's all these, and like, the Bezoses are just disgusting.
Right.
It's been firmly established that no one is interested in this.
Yeah.
It was just a very odd choice this year to send to them. I don't know who thought they would get away with it and it would not taint it, but the energy just definitely didn't seem there.
Anna, you have followed in someone's footsteps.
I know.
Literally. Where is Andy to save you now?
God.
Anyways, how about you, Max? What was your top and your bottom and your lucky Pierre?
Well, my bottom this week was the death of Ted Turner. I saw that he's, obviously a bit of a divisive figure in places as well, but he was a founder of CNN. Turner Classic Movies was his other one as well. So as a film fan, there's Turner Classic Movies were putting out a lot on there. He kind of...
I watched Turner Classic all the time growing up.
But, he was also Jane Fonda's ex-husband.
Yes.
She apparently is her favourite of her ex-husbands.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But no, so he was quite a big figure. So both in film and news media, he, at the end of the day, what CNN's going through right now.
Again.
But he did establish them as a news network, and we have relied on them, and he left his mark.
Yeah.
Top of the week, this went through multiple things, but I think at the end of the day, SNL UK has got season 2. This is great news. I think just, first of all, comedy needs to find its feet. So I'm glad they're giving it that option. I have loved this season. I think that. So me and husband missed Star Wars Day this year. I wore my t-shirt all day, and hub's like, "Do you want to watch a movie tonight?" I'm like, "No, I'm just tired. It's late. Let's just watch SNL." And we just sat through the American one, and we're just like, "It's not funny this week." It was Olivia Rodrigo. It wasn't bad. It just nothing really kind of. I think we were just both very.
It wasn't an Emma Stone week.
Yeah, we were very tired, but I think the UK version has just been really hitting the mark. So I'm glad. I'm curious to see who stays on. I know because a lot, there probably might be a couple of drop-offs because it just doesn't work out for people.
Yeah,
I think they get some repertory players as well. My lucky Pierre of the week is, and this is I'm a bit jammy of this one. Hocus Pocus 3 has been officially announced. Even I thought it had been officially announced. Anyway,
I thought I had to.
Anyway, and all 3 of them are back. But I kind of wanted this as an excuse to talk more about Devil Wears Prada. Because I feel that, like, we reviewed Devil Wears Prada after seeing a movie last week. And we have to battle this one out. Because we want to come in and quickly talk about it, but we don't get a chance to discuss how the culture's hit. It hit the culture.
Oh, yeah.
It unbelievably hit the culture, and it hit our generation's culture. It is a generational movie.
Yes.
It followed our careers, and it's following the same ups and downs, and it's hit. It's a great film. It's emotional, it's funny, and it's got a note. Some people might come away from it and go, "Oh, it didn't really mean anything." Great, because you might be in your 60s and not know what it's about or whatever.
You don't have a touchstone that you can...
But it's a legacy sequel. I don't know if it's technically a legacy sequel, but it's a 20-year gap between them. They haven't
I think it would be a legacy sequel.
Legacy sequels are hard sometimes to pinpoint. But, you know, when you look at it, and they came back, they found a storyline they wanted to do, and the storyline existed. It was wealth, and it was the destruction of the news media.
Destruction of
fashion. And it was how do we find the people that are needed to keep it going? And this is what made me wonder if Hocus Pocus 2, which was I liked, but it was cute, but it wasn't anywhere.
It was not my favorite.
It was not, and I'm curious at the third one what they would do. I mean, bring Hannah Waddingham and actually have a part with her in it,
right?
But the thing is like, Devil Wears Prada 2 showed that legacy sequels aren't just a cash cow. That there's actually there's films that we care about and want to take forward. And the thing is, they aged the movie storyline up with its audience, which I think is where Hocus Pocus 2 was like, we're just going to remake it for a younger audience. But the older audiences kind of went, well, where's the...
Yeah, where's what we were used to? Like,
why are we not addressing us? So we've aged out of it. And I wonder now, and that's my thing, is if say with Hocus Pocus 3, is will they take note of what succeeded with Devil Wears Prada 2 and create more of a film that bridges the gap between the two of them?
I don't think they're going to do that.
No.
I think that with Hocus Pocus 3, because Hocus Pocus 2 came out so recently, I mean, it was a COVID film, 4 years ago?
3 years ago, I think.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that whatever audience latched onto that second one is probably the audience that they're going to go and try to target with the third one. So I don't know that the Hocus Pocus 3 is going to be for us either. I think we may just be the original Max.
Yeah, I just feel like I said Prada, like that you kind of sat and went, there's a reason this film is being made. And I think that
the thing is with Prada is like that sequel could stand by itself.
Yeah.
That is the thing. Hocus Pocus 2 does not stand by itself. It needed the first one, and I had issues with the second one.
Yeah, we haven't rewatched it. I'd sit down and rewatch it. There's not enough Halloween movies out there.
Yeah.
I'd watch it again. But no, I think that Devil Wears Prada 2, I really hope is one of those films that people reassess what's working. And it's a female-led movie. You know, Tucci's in there with his elegant heterosexuality, as Mel said lovingly. But everyone's kind of surprised and really basking in what they've done. I mean, I don't personally want a sequel to Devil Wears Prada yet.
No.
I have an idea. If they did a limited series that followed Emily, I would be totally up for that.
But it would work as a limited series. Like, it needed to be like 6 episodes.
6 episodes, and and you watch it. Everyone else, you don't want to touch them because it's all going. But anyway, Daniel, I think should we move on to the end of the episode?
We should move on to the end of the episode.
What do you think is going to be culture for you next week?
Hantavirus.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's where we're at in this world. I mean, that or another lawsuit. Like, it's one of two things. Sorry, I'm not trying to have a breakdown, but here we are.
I'm just going to take a deep breath and focus on some projects. But hopefully, if we go and have Hantavirus, whatever, I will just make time to work.
Fair. Same.
Well, with that, Daniel.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Max. And thank you for being our third.
Cheers.
A big thank you to everyone for tuning in to Daniel Max's Cultural Freeway and for giving us a listen.
Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review, and follow us on the socials.
You can find us under Bearded Bitch Pod or Bitches with Beards. Please remember that only a mother could love our views and opinions, and they reflect us and no one else.
We'll be here next week, unless we're cancelled.